Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a video for you about a condition called aphantasia. This condition was actually just diagnosed last year. So before I go into what it actually is, I want to do an exercise with you to see if you might have aphantasia. Approximately 2% of the population has this, or at least that's what they believed when they first gave it an official name and diagnosis last year. Now they're not so sure. Now they think there might be more people, that it was an underdiagnosed condition. So let's go ahead and see if you have aphantasia. If I tell you to close your eyes and picture yourself on a beach, that's something that a lot of times we get told is a relaxation thing before a meeting. Can you close your eyes or leave them open, however you prefer to do it, and in your mind picture a beach? Be however you want, but do you see the actual picture of a beach? And it's just, yes or no. Okay. If I tell you that it's really windy and that the wind is rustling through the trees and, the sound it makes, or there's a speedboat going by, can you hear the motor in your mind if you think about it? Okay, the next one is taste. So you're on your beach and there are fresh pineapples there. If I tell you that your cabana boy, or maybe girl, just gave you a piece of fresh pineapple, can you taste it? And can you smell it? Like I said, it's just a yes or no. Take a minute. Can you smell the pineapple? And can you taste the pineapple if you're going to eat it? Okay. Now, we're on the beach. I'm as fair complected as it gets. I would be getting a sunburn. So could you feel the warm sun on your skin? Or say you wanted to get in the ocean. Could you feel the wet water on your skin in your mind? If I tell you it's really cold outside, do you get cold on your skin? And then the last thing is, do you have an internal voice? Some people might call it a conscience. Some people just say it's their own voice, that they control it, and it's kind of them thinking or, talking to themselves, reasoning things out, thinking about stuff, but it's their own voice. And beyond that, do you have another voice inside of you that talks to you that you have no control over? Now, people always look at me on that one like, oh my gosh, she's going to think I'm crazy if I say this. But it's apparently a lot of people have this. Regular, normal, functioning people have this. So I'm not going to think you're crazy because people have this, right? Now, aphantasia is the lack of a working mind's eye. When you tell me to picture something, I can't picture anything. I just discovered in November that other people could actually picture things. What I called imagination was more like akin to creativity. Somebody makes an ice sculpture with a chainsaw. I didn't call that imagination. I didn't think they saw it in their mind and then carved it out. I thought that was like creativity. I thought that if you saw stuff, it was called a hallucination. I thought that if you heard voices, you heard voices, you probably needed medicine. I didn't know that 98% of the population sees and hears these things all the time. I don't see anything. If I close my eyes, I see the back of my eyelids. I don't see pictures of anything. I said it was just diagnosed last year. I am going to do maybe a whole series on this because I looked on YouTube and there's not very many videos at all. It was just diagnosed last year, so there's not a lot of information out there, and a lot of it's people's personal experiences. It has to do with the way your brain works and the way it works or doesn't actually work together. So that's what it is. People with the ability to image don't act like they don't know how we do stuff. One of the things that is a general question is how many windows are in your house? Well, if I ask you, apparently you're going to pull up a mental image of your house and walk through your house and tell me how many windows are there. I can't do that. I have nothing. And it's not just mental imagery. The aphantasia is mental imagery, but everything I mentioned, seeing, hearing, tasting, smell, feeling stuff, and the voices, other people have. Now I can also say I look at things completely different as far as, like I used to think a lot of things were sayings, right? Just slang type stuff. Like he just undressed her with his eyes, right? I thought that meant he looked at her lustily, right? I didn't think you could actually undress someone and watch them naked. I didn't think that, I never understood counting sheep. I thought that it was just you were supposed to count numbers and you got so bored you went to sleep. I didn't think people actually saw in their imagination sheep. Why would I think an imagination was real? I never saw anything. So people that see things are crazy, right? I mean, that's kind of what we're taught. So I didn't think anybody saw anything. But anyway, like I said I'm going to do a series. This is getting a little long-winded about other stuff, the diagnosis, all sorts of stuff. And if you have aphantasia, make sure and leave a comment, subscribe, because like I said I'm going to do a whole series on it. If you don't, you can still watch, because I can almost guarantee you that you know someone who has this, and they probably just don't know it, because everyone that I've talked to about this, and I've talked to a lot of people, no one's ever talked about their imagination before. No one's ever talked about their internal senses before. So I find it interesting. There are some studies, but until next time, guys, I will talk to you later. Make sure and comment below, and I'll see you in the next one.